Today, I'm taking y'all through every single second grade pick, what worked, what we tweaked, and what completely flopped for our family. If you haven't already watched in this video, I take you through all of our second grade curriculum picks that we used this previous year. And the one that I was most excited about, we did not even implement past the point of printing. So I'm breaking it all down in this video and showing you what we're going to do next year and the lessons I learned in our second year of home. My name is Brandi. If you are new here, please go on and subscribe and hit the bell. We are a secular, eclectic, Charlotte Mason inspired homeschool, and I am a full-time working mom, also homeschooling, and my husband is a big part of our homeschooling as well. And we have now an 8-year-old about to go into 3rd grade and a 3-year-old starting a little bit of pre-K stuff. So in this video, I thought it'd be fun if we take a little flashback to my second grade curriculum video. I'm going to show you what I had said before starting our second grade year and what curriculums we were going to use. And then I'll tell you, did we keep it? Did we tweak it or did we drop it? And then at the end, I'm going to go over all the lessons I learned that we are taking with us into our 3rd grade year. So let's jump on in with our first one and see what we were excited about. Let's start with the first subject we start our day with, which is math. And the winner for this year is Math with Confidence, 2nd grade. My daughter loved the 1st grade, and now we're moving on to 2nd grade. And so we're just sticking with what's tried and true. Okay, so Math with Confidence, and we kept it. If you haven't watched my 3rd grade curriculum picks video, that's probably going to be a really good one to go watch after this. But Math with Confidence has been a huge just yes for us. Worked great in 1st grade, fantastic in 2nd grade, and now we're moving right along with level 3 for our 3rd grade year. And honestly, we will probably finish it up to, I think it goes to 6th grade, and then we'll jump into Denison pre-algebra. And so that's the plan with math. It's pretty much set in stone. As long as it's not broken, we are not fixing it. And so Math with Confidence is huge for us. Okay, so now we're heading into literature. So let's see what I said about literature. And our literature for this year is going to be Blossom and Root level 2. They just updated this, and I'm super excited about the books. We did Blossom and Root last year, and I will say we bounced around a little bit. And I wish we would have just stuck with Blossom and Root because my daughter loved it. We loved it. So we're going all in on Blossom and Root. Now, by that, we don't do the word list. We really use it for our literature portion, our narration, our copy work. Okay, so how did Blossom and Root work for us? I would say it was a keep with a tweak. So here's the caveat to this. Blossom and Root was amazing. The book list was so good. So we made it to, I think, week 22 of just using Blossom and Root. We started the year off with a lot of picture books. Like we had this one, we had some onomatopoeia books, and then we had the Trickster Tales from around the world. The Trickster Tales from around the world were really fun. We really enjoyed these. And then we went to Fortunately the Milk. I had never read this. We read it. We weren't in love with it. And I think this was one of the only books that we really didn't care for. Then we went into Skunk and Badger, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. So the cool thing with the new one is you could choose contemporary or classic. So I think Skunk and Badger was contemporary for Wind in the Willow maybe. And then Wizard of Oz was, of course, the classic. I love these editions from this illustrator. My daughter really likes these. So we did Wizard of Oz. Then we went straight into The Hobbit, which we loved. It was so good. It was my first time reading The Hobbit. My husband had read it, but we really, really enjoyed The Hobbit, watched movies and everything. So we made it through a good chunk of Blossom and Root. Slipped, then I strayed. And with literature, I think it's one of those things where I'm okay straying for the most part. Do I wish we would have finished some of the books off from Blossom and Root? Yes, it was a fantastic book list. I wish we would have just stuck with it and just did it, but as we do, we kind of go off on our own thing. So one of the books that we did is in October, I did a unit study on witches for the whole month. And so this was our main book that we used is The Witches. We really liked this one. It was my first time reading this one too. My daughter liked it. We had a lot of fun with this book. We did some extra stuff. So we read this one, had a lot of fun with that. Then we went to some Brave Writer. And I will say, we really like the Brave Writer format, and we are doing some Brave Writer this year. So we did the painting game. Unfortunately, we didn't love this book. And the funny thing is, It takes place in Salem, Virginia, where the Salem Red Sox are. And the funniest thing is my husband and I, that's where we're from. It's like a super small town in Virginia, and it's where we're from. And my husband worked at there when he was younger at the stadium. So we had a lot of connections to it, but I think what we didn't realize is my daughter knew nothing about baseball. So she had a really hard time connecting with this book. It was okay, wasn't our favorite, but we loved the Brave Writer format. And this is the first book we ever did with this Brave Writer. Now, we did Sidekicks, and this is a graphic novel, and my daughter loved it. We had so much fun. This was a Brave Writer that we did. She learned a lot and retained a lot of the grammar with this and how to read a graphic novel. And we had a lot of fun taking wordless picture books and making our own comics. We took a lot of the Aesop's fables and made our own graphic novels with the word bubbles and stuff. And that was a lot of fun. I made a big comic book sign that we hung up. So this one, when I asked her what her favorite book of the year is, she loved the experience around this one. Then to wrap up the year, we did a Treehouse Schoolhouse novel study, and we did The Secret Garden. This is such a pretty edition. And the thing with this, though, it's just so pretty. And the first half of the book, my daughter hated. And it wasn't the book, it was me. I was the problem. I was trying to do this book in 4 weeks because we really wanted to wrap up school before we went on our cruise in May. And also, the Treehouse had it as 4 weeks. And so I tried to do it, which meant we were reading about 20 pages in one sitting. And what I found out is 20 pages of Sidekicks, 20 pages of the painting game. These are very different than 20 pages of Secret Garden. It would be like trying to do 20 pages of The Hobbit in one sitting. And so I realized, oh, she's not narrating back well and she's not liking the book. And it wasn't the book content, because every time I would say, what's wrong? Like, why don't you like the book? She couldn't tell me. I figured it out. It's because the readings were too long. And with all the York accents and stuff like that, she just was struggling to hold attention for 20 pages, which actually ends up being a lot more than 20 minutes. And so once I went down and I was like, okay, we're going to finish it. We'll just cut our reading into 2 different sections and stuff like that. She fell in love with this book. We watched the movie. This was the first book that she said she liked the book better than the movie. So for me, that was a win. I really enjoyed this experience together. And also what it showed me is that because we have always done Blossom and Root, and it's narration, copy work, and then that's it. You can add stuff, but there's not this, I don't feel pressure to add things. We didn't do that. And so it's just keeping it copy work, narration, reading the book, discussing things that come up, and just simple. And I felt like when we added in the treehouse for this, there's just activities and stuff that we just didn't need to do. And so I like the grammar aspects of Brave Writer, incorporating that in. Whenever we buy novel studies and there's just like all this extra stuff to do, that's not how we like to do it. We like to enjoy the book. We like to narrate. We like to do our copy work, but we don't need all the extras. And so I think that's one thing that I realized with The Secret Garden, and to watch for how many pages when we are doing classics I do compared to contemporaries, because there is a difference, especially with the language. So that was a big learning lesson. And Blossom Root, keep, but tweaked. And then Brave Writer, I'm in love with. We will be using some of them for the upcoming year. And then Treehouse, it was a beautiful novel study, and it just wasn't right for our family. It would probably be so good for other people. There was like book reports and everything. For us, we just want to enjoy the book, narrate the book, do copy work, and discuss and go on. Okay, so let's jump into reading and phonics and see what we used and if we kept it or not. We have All About Reading Level 2. We are already halfway through it. We'll probably be done with this probably by the end of term 1 or halfway through term 2. We'll just jump right into All About Reading 3. I love them. My daughter's thriving. She loved the first one. The only problem with this is that you have a lot to prep beforehand, and I always do the whole book before we even start it. Okay, so All About Reading, still doing it, moving on. We finished 2 and 3. They're wrapping up. They have about 2 weeks left to finish up 3. And then we'll be finishing up our last one probably at the halfway point. So we'll jump into book 4. what we're averaging is probably by Christmas, maybe January, we'll be done with All About Reading, which is so crazy to think about. It's a little sad. So that chapter will be closing. My daughter's reading really picked up this year. She loves reading. She's doing really good. And so All About Reading still where it's at for us. One thing that I have stopped doing is because when I came in, I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos and everyone was like tearing out all the pages, copying the pages, then binding them so they could use it again for their second child. I did that for book 1, 2, and then on book 3, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so over this. I'm not doing this. So now what I do is when I order them, I order the hard, like the parent copy, the hard one. And then the student workbook, I order 2 of them. So we don't need the readers and everything, but the student book that with all the activities, I've been ordering 2 of those. So when my little one goes through it, we'll have the student book and we'll still have the parent book. We'll have the readers, all that kind of stuff. But then he has his own activity book, so I'll just have to prep the actual activities, not do all the copying. So to me, that was totally worth it doing it that way. And then with that being said, I still go through and prep all of them. So book 4, I'm about to start prepping. So all they have to do is sit down, start the activity. We have to get rid of as many distractions as possible, and cutting out all the activities, it just eats away at our time. So I go on and prep it so they can sit down and just start doing the activities and everything they need to do. Okay, so let's find out about spelling now. We're doing Dip into Spelling Level 1. And so this is where you can see where I've already went in. We have the teacher's manual. So the teacher's manual is right here. And then I go through and go on and make copies and I put all the activities together. So all my husband does is open this up and get ready. And then they have the dictation sheets on their website. So instead of having a spelling notebook, I just went on and printed out the dictation sheets and bound this so she can write directly in here. So that spelling I think we plan on doing this every day. Okay, so spelling, I wanted to show you, keep that in the part about the dictation because there's so many people who don't know that on All About Spelling, you can actually print out a dictation sheet. And so it is there on their website. So I wanted to leave that part in, but we're continue on with spelling. We finished book 2 and book 3. I think we'll finish the first month or 2 of school. And then we'll then jump right into book 3 and then probably do book 4 this year. And then we'll just keep the party going. But spelling is going well. We're going to continue using it. So we're keeping All About Spelling. We've done Dash into Handwriting print for books 1, 2. We're now moving on to book 3. We'll be done with this after first term. And then we're just going to go right into Dash into Handwriting Cursive book 1. Okay, so we kept and we dropped. So with this one, we totally kept the print. We finished that up pretty quickly. And then we just focused on copy work. Her handwriting's really good, but there was just something about she didn't want to start cursive yet, and I was totally okay with that. So we're starting cursive coming into 3rd grade. We are using Dash into Handwriting for cursive, but we just did not continue on. We really focused on copy work, and her handwriting's so good. So I didn't want to push it too much. Just let's keep going. So that's what we did for handwriting. Okay, so this next subject, oh man. Science. So let's see what happened with science. But this year, I really wanted to just jump back into something that was more consistent. And so I asked my daughter, out of all the blossom and root, which science would she really like? And she really wanted to do plant. I was like, perfect, because I already bought the whole bundle because I knew we were doing that for literature. So we're doing blossom and root, level 2, wonders of the plant and fungi kingdoms. So we're going to jump into this. One thing that I did do, and then here's the student notebook. Once again, we didn't do this last year, but I'm excited just to have her notebooks all together. Okay, science is still a hot mess for us. We will get this figured out, and hopefully this is the year we get it figured out. Blossom and root, as much as I want to love it, it's just not for us when it comes to science. I want to love blossom and root so much, and I think it is, the resources and everything are good, but when it comes to science, I need something that's open and go. I also need a little bit more than just a DK book, right? I want to be super engaged with it. I need instructions, and Blossom and Roots a little bit too like just whatever you want and do whatever you want. Here's the big overlying topics. It is so rich. Also, we decided that as a family, we just are not people who like to stick to one subject for the whole year. So the plants for a whole year got super boring. So after about 8 weeks, we pumped the brakes on it. Then we weren't doing any science. She was watching on Netflix, Weird But True. It's something like that. So she was watching those. She really liked those. Then she's been watching a lot of the Mark Rover, him. And so then we picked it back up after Christmas when we came back, and we did just the weeks that were fungi, and we had a blast with that. We did the moldy items on your counter. We did some other fungi stuff. We went to the grocery store and went fungi shopping, like edible fungi, did a tasting party. Like all of that was so much fun. We painted little wood mushrooms. We had a lot of fun with the fungi section. So I'm sure if we would have stuck things out, it would have been a good fit. But I think it was so slow in the beginning. It took us too long to get into it. And then once we came back and we did the fungi, we got super into it. And I'm sure if we went into the spring things, we may have really enjoyed it. So I think Blossom and Root is top-notch science. For our family, though, it did get tweaked and dropped, and we only did the fungi part. And that was so fun. But moving into this year, as you saw, if you watch my 3rd grade curriculum pick video, we are going to be doing the Alviary and Beast Academy. Both of these are much, much more open and go. We're going to get more nature study type with Alviary, and then we're going to have fun experiments and stuff with Beast Academy. So I will keep you updated. And if you want to see a flip through of Beast Academy science, because I know there's not a lot out there, let me know in the comments, and I'm more than happy to do a flip through. And then once we've got through one term, I cannot wait to review them and see how science is going for us, especially since this has been one that we've struggled with for the last 2 years. Now let's talk about geography. Now, geography is a little interesting for us. I tried last year to do Torchlight and Build Your Library and really do the Around the World, and it just didn't fit for our family. And we travel a lot. And so for us, it makes sense to learn about the location before we go. So then as we're there, our kids are like putting things together. Oh yeah, remember when we saw that? Or it's important to learn culture before we go visit somewhere. So after being like, okay, I don't have to stick to a curriculum, I can make my own, I started creating our own geography studies based on where we were traveling to. Okay, geography just got dropped, and it makes me sad because geography is so important, but how we've been doing geography just isn't working for us anymore. And so we were doing it based on where we were traveling, and then it almost felt like it was homework. And so geography kind of got the boot after term 1. We haven't been doing any formal geography, which is why if you watch my 3rd grade curriculum picks video, I told you that's how us switching to Alviary actually came about, is because I was looking for a really good geography program. And so with geography this coming year, we're going to be doing Alviary. This past year, me creating a whole bunch of stuff just didn't work. We did stick with it with Lily and Thistle, and when we went to England, France, and Netherlands, and then we did Tennessee and Georgia because we live in Georgia, and a few others that we were visiting that fit there. We did the Bahamas. And so we did do some, but nothing formal. And for me, I really want my children to have a formal grasp on geography because it's really important to me, more so than, hey, here's just the places we're visiting, but like landforms and directions and things like that. It was not. Me creating curriculum is just a fail. We need more open and go, and that's what I learned. And being like so willy-nilly about, oh, we'll do geography here and here, it broke into our schedule too, because if we're constantly doing our schoolwork, but then all of a sudden we're bringing in a subject for 1 month or something, it wasn't working. And so that means geography got ignored. So let's see what the next subject is. We're doing typing.com, so I'll link that up so you can see that. And we're just gonna go through. So I don't know if we're doing 1 lesson a week, 2 lessons a week, we'll see. But I know each lesson's pretty short. So we're gonna kind of let her do that and see how that goes. Okay, so typing got dropped. We just didn't do it. We're gonna pick it up in 4th. That's when Alviary brings it in and they use typing.com. And so I was like, we'll focus on cursive this year and then we'll do typing next. So it just got completely dropped for 2nd grade, which I am totally okay with. Our beauties. So we loved doing artist study last year, and I think I was just getting my bearings, and we did artist study term 1, and we all loved it. and then we got away from it. And we did Van Gogh, and it was fantastic. And then we went to the Van Gogh experience, and that was really cool. And so we're gonna pick that back up. But the reason we're picking it up is because with my son doing early years volume 1, she already incorporates that into their lessons, and they spend about 4 weeks on each artist and composer. We're adding in Shakespeare. So I tried to do Shakespeare last year, it just didn't work. I didn't know what I was doing, and it just didn't work. And so we're members of Read Aloud Revival. And when I saw that this summer program, she was doing Midsummer Night and she was doing Shakespeare, I was like, oh man, she is so good. She will make this where we can all understand, all get excited. So we're gonna do Shakespeare. Okay, so the Beauties are an area that I want us to be more intentional about, and we are gonna be more intentional about them this year because instead of bumping them to the end of the day, they're now part of our morning routine. One artist study, we did do Van Gogh again, like I said we were, because then we went to the Netherlands and we went to the Van Gogh Museum, which was incredible. Being able to walk into the Van Gogh Museum and have my 7-year-old at the time be like, oh mom, look, that's the potato eaters. I have never felt so much pride or joy in my life. I was like, that is the potato eaters. You are amazing. And she had her little headphones. She did a scavenger hunt. It was such a fun experience, and to be able to do that in person. And we did a little bit of Monet before we went to Paris because we were going to be in the Louvre. I thought there was more Monet there. There wasn't, but we did see one Monet. And then we studied the Mona Lisa because we did see the Mona Lisa. We got a cool selfie with it. I'll put that right there. And just appreciating the art while we were there. She knew to stand there and look at it, and she would tell us what it made her feel. And it was just really, really special. So I would say we got the ultimate Beauties experience in terms of that. Once we got back, it kind of got put off to the side. I had more artists. They just kept on getting pushed back, pushed back, pushed back. That's why this year we are going to have a more formal lesson and move it towards the front of our day so it doesn't get pushed away. So we did do artist study, but we dropped early years for Bodhi. So my preschooler totally dropped it. We just wanted him to play and have a good time. This year we're picking up playing preschool. If you want to see a flip through or a day in life, I'll share that with you once we get into it. But that's our plan for him, is play preschool, because I still want him really playing. And he's a little bit delayed with his speech. And so I wanted him to have more time to develop that. So we dropped preschool, and we weren't so awesome at Beauties, at least with artist study. Composer, I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to composer study. And I'm just going to be honest about that. I have no idea. It's never something I was taught. It's never something I have been exposed to, but I wasn't exposed to artist study, but that has felt very natural for me picking up. Composer study has felt like a heavy lift. So with us doing the Alviary, they have an open and go composer study. So I'm excited to be able to do that this year and have something that tells me what to do so we can actually do it. And that's part of our morning routine. So that will be in there once a week. So we are going to be much better at the Beauties. We were not so great in Shakespeare. We did go through Midsummer Night's Dream, and we read the story. We used the puppets. It was really fun. We didn't do any of the recitation. We didn't act it out. We just read it, enjoyed it, did the puppets. It was fun. But in year 4 with Alviary, we jumped back into Shakespeare, and I think I am going to start just reading some of the stories this year too. So Shakespeare got tweaked, and then only one story got done. But that's better than none. So that's kind of where we ended up with the Beauties. Artist study was a halfway. Shakespeare was kind of done halfway, and composer study was completely dropped. So let's move on to art and see what happened there. We are doing Lily and Thistle around the world for our art. So it works out very well because they'll pair up with geography. So I know that we already have Lily and Thistle on here. The French powdered wig we're doing. Then we have an Eiffel Tower. Then they had one for England. They also had one for the Netherlands. So we got really lucky with those that we have 2 art projects for each country. So we're going to use those. So we did do Lily and Thistle art for England, France, the Netherlands. So that was perfect. We did all that before we left. We did, I think, Mexico before we went to Mexico. We didn't do any more countries, but we did go and do some watercolor. My daughter did a lot of art hub drawings. I had a few drawing doodle books that she did, but we did not do anything super formal. Once again, the reason why the Alvieri was very appealing to us is because they have an actual instructional art training with videos and a lesson plan to say, do this, do this, do this. And so we are moving into that. Our art this year was very informal and very sporadic. Probably like, wait, where's history? So we did Curiosity, Chronicles, Ancients, and we did Build Your Library Pre. My daughter was not a fan of either one of them. Curiosity Chronicles, she liked the audiobook and the back and forth dialogue, but she wasn't really getting any of it. She didn't like mummies, she didn't like dinosaurs, she didn't like Rome, and I am a history major, and I was like, oh, the ancients are like my favorite, and she didn't like them. So I was like so caught up, and I think this is one thing I learned. I was so caught up that there's so many trains of thought, like do you teach your own history first? Do you teach chronological? And I was like, oh, teaching chronological makes so much more sense. So I was like so dead set on this. And then I just realized she doesn't like history. And so if we're going to teach history, we have to find a way that she does like it. And so how we're going to incorporate history is one, through the art. So whenever we travel somewhere, through our geography study and through our art, we will still be doing it. And we're still gonna do our timeline notebook. So we have the timeline notebook from School Nest, and this has actually been really great. I just print out the stickers and then we put them in here. So we're gonna continue to do timeline notebook and reference, oh, this is before this, this is after this. We're gonna continue to do that, but we're not gonna go in chronological order. So whatever we're learning in history, whoever we're learning about, so when we learn about Shakespeare, we're gonna put him in our timeline. When we talk about the powdered wigs of France, we're gonna figure out what part that was in. We're gonna put that in there. And then also part of our history, so we're gonna incorporate geography. We're gonna teach history and geography. Okay, no, not a good way to teach history at all, in my opinion. Everything I said, I dropped, right? So all of that dropped. So we didn't really do a lot of history for term 1. Term 2, I was like, wow, you've really matured a lot since when we tried to do ancients in first grade. We tried to do ancients in first grade term 2 after doing we did prehistory in her first grade term 1. Then we started ancients term 2. We did it for 12 weeks. She didn't like it. She wasn't retaining anything. So I was like, maybe this is just a maturity thing, right? So I stopped, and then I brought it back this term 2 because I was like, you've really matured. We started with Curiosity Chronicles again. She was doing okay with it. And then we found some issues that we were having with the content. So one, the notebook we found out is not the best way for her age. I read Karen Glass, I believe, The Living Pages, and they really talk about like developmentally, time is a hard topic for kids. And so for her age, she should actually have a timeline, right? So a visual timeline that she can see. And we were doing the book, but the pages, it doesn't click in their brain. And I could tell that she was confused with the time. And so we were tabling our School Nest timeline book until 5th grade. And then for 3rd and 4th, I got a big timeline printed out for the wall. So she can put things that we're talking about on there. From now coming into 3rd grade, it'll be 1600 to 1900. And so we have that where she can put all the things on there that we're studying. But I found that out a little bit too late for us to fix it. And so we were trying to get through it. But also the other thing is with Curiosity Chronicles, of course, ancients, there's a lot of unfamiliar names. And then they jump around so much. So it's like we're in Egypt, then we're in China, now we're in India, now we're in like South America. And so we found out she was just getting really confused. Wait, it wasn't clicking. Hey, this is happening at the same time or near the same time, but it's all over the world. And then she started asking questions about, but what about us? Like, why aren't we talking about the United States? And so that's when I was like, okay, one, I am now I still want to do a 4-year history rotation. That's how I came in as a history major, wanting to educate my children. And then I moved away, and you saw I was like, we're just going to let it flow. And that is not how we're going to do it. But we need to start, like Charlotte Mason teaches, with your home first. And I saw that was a big disconnect. And then a visual timeline, not a book of centuries or a timeline notebook. So we pushed through. We got through some of Curiosity Chronicles. We kind of skipped some chapters. We made it happen, but it was not our favorite at all. We got sick of Mona and Ted or Ned or whatever going back and forth. That wasn't really our thing. We also, like, the workbook that comes with it was very just like vocab, and then here's a crossword and maybe there's an activity. And so we didn't really like that. And so it just, all the picture books that we did and things like that, she liked. So I think we just need to address history in a different way, more Charlotte Mason, where instead of using the spine, we're using novels and primary documents and things like that. One thing that did happen that was really cool is that, one, we had already talked about mummies twice. Also, we had talked about the Rosetta Stone. So when we went to the British Museum, we walked in and there's the Rosetta Stone. And so she knew what that was and she was able to connect with that. She also was really cool to see the mummies and all the stuff. And then we had a great discussion about how some museums took things from other countries and what do we think about that? And so that created really great conversation, but it did not click with her until she saw it in person. So I think moving forward, at least I'm excited to see what this year has in store with us with Alviary, where one, it's 1800 to 1900, and we live in Georgia, so we got a lot of places we can go to around us to help connect that. Also, my husband and I are from Virginia, so when we go to Virginia, there's a lot of things. We're taking a trip to DC, we're going to Kentucky, which we're reading a book, so there's a lot for us to connect her with. And because she's been asking about our own history, it's going to be really good. And this summer, we're doing a little unit study, a bridge gap, to say, okay, here's how we got to the US, here's how the Declaration of Independence was signed, all that kind of stuff. And now we're jumping into 1800, right? So I'm glad we're getting this. And I'm always like, she's our test child, and then Bodie's going to come up and we'll have it dialed in by then, right? Big learning lessons with history is the textbook format for us does not work. Worksheets do not work. It really needs to be like, how can she relate to it? So I'm excited about how we're doing it in Alviary, and I'm just going to trust the process. So the next one is the one that I was most excited about, y'all. When I watch this video back, I laugh so hard because part of this, I'll just go in and spoiler alert, before I even started this, I dropped it. So let's see what it was. And then one thing that we are doing each term is one unit study. My daughter loves unit studies, and we're going to take a 4-week unit study and stretch it out to 12. But part of those is there's history built into those unit studies. So term 1 unit study, we're doing culinary arts from Harbor and Sprout. And in there, they teach history and they teach, I think it's ancient grains. And so that's going to work out really well, and because it's still ancient. And so we'll put that in here as we're learning. There's a Harry Potter one that we want to do because we're doing Harry Potter when we go to London, so it would be cool to do that. And because in that unit study, there's a whole herbology, and we're doing plants this year. So that makes sense. So we're gonna do that term 2, and then term 3, we're doing beekeeping because we're talking about pollinators, but also because we're gonna actually be getting bees for our property. So that's the plan with our unit study. She really loves unit studies, so we're just gonna take 4-week unit studies, spread them out to 12, and see how that goes. We dropped all of it. There was only one unit study that happened, and that was the witch unit study I put together for October, which was very novel based. Plus we had a spell book that we used for science. And then for history, part of that is I did Witches Through the Centuries. And then we did Smashing History, is that what it's called? Of the Salem Witch Trials. So that is and then we went to Savannah on Halloween and did that, the spookiest city, the most haunted city in America. So we did that for Halloween. So that unit study was the only successful one that we did. Harbor and Sprout, I literally opened the download folder for Harbor and Sprout and was so overwhelmed. And I was like, where the heck do you even start? So I printed out the instructor's guide and I was like, holy bananas, this is not for me. People love it, so it could be for you, but there was so many moving pieces. And in that moment, I discovered I am not a unit study mom. I don't like all the extra moving pieces. I want us to read books, enjoy books, narrate, discuss the books. I don't want to overcomplicate things. And I think a lot of stuff out there is overcomplicating it, but also you may be a family that loves that. I am not. I am not. And so we are not a unit study family. However, we are doing Harry Potter. It is part of our summer curriculum that we're doing right now. It is a lot. So there's a lot of stuff in it, but she's loving the Harry Potter. We got the illustrated copy that's really cool. So we're reading Harry Potter. We're doing some of the activities. We are doing some of the books. So if you want to see the Harry Potter unit study we're doing, I'm happy to share with you. We're not doing everything, but we are doing some. So that's a recap of what we kept, what we tweaked, and what we dropped, and what we added. Now, a few quick fire lessons that I learned past this 1 year. One, we are not a unit study family. I may save those for summer, but we are not a unit study family. 2, if we want to do the riches, we need to get them done in the morning. 3, we want to go all in on Charlotte Mason. That is just like, whenever I look at what we've actually enjoyed, it's Charlotte Mason for the win. We're going all in on that. 4 is we need more structure and open and go programs. The ones we stick with are open and go programs. And I think that's just the dynamic of how our homeschool is, with my husband doing half of the homeschooling, me doing half of the homeschooling. We just need more open and go. And so that's what our plan is going from this year. 5 is I just want to read the book, narrate the book, copywork the book, and discuss it. Like, all the other extras I don't need. And that means I can pick up any stinking novel and have a novel study for my daughter. Except we do love Brave Writer with the grammar built in. I will buy those all day long. I also learn that I need to stop trying to reinvent the wheel. There is so much amazing curriculums out there. There is no reason I need to sit here and try to come up with a unit study or do something. It just weighs me down. Then I get stressed. And then, and yes, there are tons of moms out there that create curriculums. I have no desire to sell curriculum. I have a full-time business. I don't want another one. And so I'm just going to use what's already out there and proven to work. For science, we cannot stick to one subject all year. We need to rotate, which I'm so glad the Alviary rotates each term. And also Beast Academy does the same thing. It's constantly every month or every 4 lessons, it moves on to another topic. So I think that's going to work way better for us than sticking on one topic for the entire year for science. For books, we love the mix of old and new. I'm not going to be someone who only does classics, just like I'm not going to be someone who only does modern books. I love the mix of classic and modern, and I've been really good about rotating them. So it's modern, classic to give her a break. And then also that kids sometimes just need different pacing. They need different ways to consume the book. So the Blue Fairy book, sometimes I would read that to her in first grade and second. And she liked it, but she wasn't like a raving fan of it. Now I have it on a Yodo card for her, and it's like her go-to Yodo card. So sometimes it may be like she just doesn't want to hear it from mom, but if I can put it in another form, she dives into it. So pretty much any book I can, I will read first, and then I'll give her the Yodo card. So even now with The Secret Garden, I read it first, then she had the audiobook. We're doing Harry Potter now. After I finish Harry Potter, I have the audiobook ready for her to go. So really utilizing the Yodo player so she can go through the book again on her own has been really fun for us. And trying to find books that also have movies and watching those afterwards, like End of Book Party, but just watching movie curled up on the couch with popcorn. I really tried to plan a lot around our travel. And 1, I'm the one that plans the travel. 2, we usually go on some pretty big trips, so it's a lot of planning. And then also trying to plan homeschool around it just isn't working. So we're going to always incorporate some kind of learning before we go travel, but we don't need to make it a big thing, right? It can just be like, here's a book or here's a YouTube or something like that, where we just get to know it, but it doesn't have to be so formal. And then the 2 main ones that I really want to get better at this year is 1, reflecting more after each term, and 2 is tracking our books. We read a lot of books, and then we get to the end of the year and I'm like, what's your favorite? And she has to really think about it. So I bought her School Nest book journal. So she's putting all her books in there and writing a little blurb. We're noting if I read it to her or if she read it to me. So we're doing all that. So then we can go back through and be like, what was your favorite? And talk about it. Also, each term, now that we're with the Alviary, we'll be taking exams. And then I'm also going to take time to reflect on what worked really well, what didn't, what did we love, what needs to change, because I think this year I was just checking boxes, and I do want to sit and reflect a little bit more than waiting till the end of the year and then trying to reflect. So that, my friends, is what worked, what didn't for our second grade year, and what we're going to do moving forward. The best thing to go do is watch my third grade curriculum picks video so you can see what we're doing this year. And then if there's anything you want to see a flip through of or more information on, let me know and I'll try to get those videos out to you as well. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell so you get notified next time I post a video. And I'll see you soon.